Worthless Mutts here, Gore the dog butcher, back again. I want to talk about some of my favorite animals, and I respect a lot of animals for what they are, even if they are dangerous or venomous. I still have respect for them. I have no beef with them. But three of my favorite animals are the eagle, the lion, and the badger, or known as the honey badger. Honey badger is very underrated. Like you think, like badger, like most people don't even know what a badger is. They've rarely ever heard of these things. But the badger is a badass animal, and that's all I said. I just searched badass animals, and honey badger, popped up, and it is one of the most, I would say, okay, dangerous. One of the most badass, animals out there. This thing can hunt, prey maybe 2 times its size. But the thing is why I like the honey badger and the lion and the eagle, because they have one thing in common. They're survivors. These animals are survivors. They don't rely on the human to feed them. They don't rely on living in a human home. They don't rely on the human picking up their crap. Maybe in a zoo, but in the wild, though, they don't require that. They live on their own. They like to live in peace. If other animals step in their territory, they're going to attack. They're going to kill them. But the thing is, people will assume and they will say dogs are badass animals. They'll say dogs are smart animals. Dogs are, higher than thee. But dog lovers, you can't, you gotta stop being ignorant. You gotta start, seeing things for what it really is. You can't call dogs survivors. You can't call dogs independent. You can't call dogs, badass. You call dogs rescue. You call dogs rescue because dogs are incapable of surviving. They're not survivors. You as dog lovers, you have to go and buy food for the dog, put it in a bowl, and have the dog eat. You have to make the home for the dog. You have to, you're basically your dog's bitch. That's what you are. Dog lovers are basically basically the dog's bitch. Because you're doing all this shit for the dog, but at the same time, you're acting as if the dog is smart, independent, and as if they're survivors. Survivors. They ain't survivors. These are survivors. Even the parasite is a survivor. These are real survivors. I guess there's some cases where where humans do have to rescue these animals, but in generally speaking, these are survivors. These animals are survivors. Dogs are not survivors. This is why you have to rescue these dogs all around the world. You have to rescue these dogs in either homes because of either backyard breeding or dog fighting or animal abuse or etc. You have to rescue. That's why they're called rescues, because dogs are not survivors. This is why there's so many non-profits, yeah, right, non-profits, these dog organizations trying to save and rescue dogs because they're not survivors. Where are all these non-profits for lion rescues or badger rescues, snake rescues, worm rescues, rabbit rescues, hippo rescues. It's dog rescue, dog rescue, dog rescue, dog rescue, dog rescue. But you act as if dogs are smart, as if dogs are independent, as if dogs are valuable. They're not. You gotta break out of this spell that you're under. They're not survivors. These animals are survivors. The honey badger is a survivor. It's a honey badger. These are survivors. They're very underrated animals. You know, not many people know what these things are capable of doing. They're survivors. They're hunters. They take care of their offspring. They're survivors. But the same cannot be said about the dog. You know, you damn know well dogs are not survivors. Life, even as human, as people, is about surviving. Life is about surviving. Life isn't about things just being handed to you and you just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Maybe for the 2%, but generally speaking, life is about surviving. You go to work to survive. You eat to survive. You hustle to survive. You're doing this for your family. You're trying to survive for your children, for your future. You go to school to survive. But the dog, it just sits there. You give it food. You grope your dog, make out with the dog, and the dog may listen to you, and you think the dog is so valuable now. The truth is, you dog lovers are a bitch. You're the bitch to your dog. That's what you are. And I had to say this because the media isn't going to tell you. Your Caesar Milan isn't going to tell you. Other dog nutters aren't going to tell you. So truth is, you're just a bitch. You're a bitch to your dog. Your dog may be a bitch, but you're the bitch to your own bitch. And your bitch is bitch as well, if that even makes sense. But I'm saying is, you dog lovers, I suggest this. Research on the badger. Research how badass. Maybe badass isn't the right word. Research how these badgers are survivors. Research how they live, how they hunt. How they, take care of their youth, their young. Again, like they could go head to head with a hyena. Badgers are not the animal you want to mess with. We know dogs are dangerous and blah, but come on. You guys are probably gonna say dogs are dangerous too, but the thing is, dogs are stupid though. They're not survivors. They're not survivors. You want to talk about dangerous? You could put. This is why there are so many groups out there trying to rescue dogs. Because dogs are not survivors. Dogs are not survivors.